Welcome to West Country Wanderings and welcome today to one of my Cornwall series. I haven't done many in Cornwall for a little while, sorry about that. But today we're in the North Cornwall town of Launceston, formerly the capital of Cornwall. We're going to have a good look around the town today because there's a lot to see here. We'll also be having a trip to Launceston Castle, which just lies behind me here. So you're most welcome here, West Country Wanderings in Launceston. So Launceston, famously the capital of Cornwall, in those days it was called Dunheved. And the reason this site was chosen is because it held, and it still does, a strategic position between both Dartmoor and Bodmin. There are a number of medieval bridges which crisscross the town lower down. A place called Polson. I've got time, we're going to have a look at that later in today's video here on West Country Wanderings. But before we do that, just have a quick tour of the town centre itself. Most charming town here in North Cornwall. I love this Keep Audio Company and Music Cafe. That's great. That in front of me is the town hall, with St Piran's flag there fluttering away. I'm currently standing under the south gate though of the castle, which was built in the 13th century. That's the gate, but not the castle itself. Apologise for the awful conditions today. It's absolutely chucking it down with rain, so I have to do it in and out. So we're here at Launceston Castle. It was probably built around 1068 or shortly after 1068, and it was then just a timber framed castle with the earthworks around of it. Some of those still remain, but there's no remains of the original building from 1068. It wasn't until the 12th century that it was constructed using stone from neighbouring quarries. It's built for one Robert de Courtin for the new earldom of Cornwall, because they wanted to hold a strategic position militarily in this part of Cornwall, as I say, between both Dartmoor and Bodmin. The castle was rebuilt by Roger of Cornwall in 1227 using stone, and it gave a high strategic place so he could impress people with views across both to Dartmoor and to Bodmin, although we won't get those views today on such an inclement wet weather day here in Cornwall. So we're now inside the keep here, and it's good to see that so much of this has still survived here in Cornwall. Tremendous place. You can see the thickness of the walls surviving all of those centuries. We just go here, this is the inner keep, just going to go through the wall now, which is the outer keep. Get a sense of just how thick this is here. There it is, so that's the thickness of the outer keep walls. And we're going to have a look now down at the views on this very windy, wet, blustery day. It's amazing to think the work that it would have taken to build two concentric ring inner and outer keeps back in the 12th century with the rudimentary tools that they had in those days. There is an actual incline, an actual lean on the inner keep's wall as well, around about 12 degrees. Now Richard's son Edmund moved the earldom, fiefdom if you like, from here at Launceston, not far away, down to Lostwithiel, which is on the River Foy. I'm not entirely sure I know the reasons for that, but it meant that the castle here then went into a permanent and terminal decline, although it happened gradually because over the years the castle has had many other uses. In 1337, while the castle was already a ruin, it became the county assizes because it was in the Middle Ages that the town of Launceston became the capital of Cornwall, just like Truro is these days. As well as being the assizes for judicious acts to take place, it was also the main county's jail. But in later years, over a couple of hundred years, that drifted away to the town of Bodmin, which still has its jail and now is opened as a tourist attraction and a hotel. A central part here was used as the jail. It must have been terrible conditions. In fact, later on, it was known as Castle Terrible in the 18th century. It just been a place of misery with very, very poor sanitation and very poor resources for cooking food as well. There is another staircase which takes us up a bit further, so we're just going to have a look at that now. So above the inner keep would have been the Earl's Chamber, which contained an important and comfortable room and was certainly built for the Earl himself, one Earl Richard. And during his stays at the castle, he probably used the room, maybe accompanied by his wife, Countess Sanche, his second wife. The castle was captured by rebels during the Prayer Book Rebellion of 1549. And 100 years or so later, during the English Civil War, it was captured by the Royalists. In 1842, when the last of the prisoners were all moved to Bodmin Jail, the Duke of Northumberland landscaped all around, surrounded the castle to turn it into a park and recreational resource for the people of the town. In the Second World War, it was housed some American troops, hospitality here, and later on it was used as offices for the Air Ministry. This angle you get a scale of the structure of Launceston Castle. Today the castle is actually owned by the Duchy of Cornwall, so formerly it would have been Prince Charles. Now of course it is Prince William that owns the castle here in this North Cornish town. It's also in the care of English Heritage, so there is a fee to getting in, but it's just £7.50 for adults. I think you can buy a family ticket for 2 adults, 2 children, and I think that's around about £19. I'll confirm that and put that in the subtitle in the usual way below. And there's lots of parking in and around the town centre. I've actually come here with my daughter today. We caught the bus from Liskeard. Again, it takes about an hour and 10 minutes from Liskeard. Liskeard has a mainline railway station. I've also noticed there are buses from places like Barnstable and Bude as well. So we're now going to look at other parts of the town, see what we can see the remains of the railway station here, which had 2 or 3 lines coming out of it. I'm sure you know that if you follow my railway series, but today, of course, it's the Launceston narrow gauge steam railway, sadly closed today, but I'll see what we can see of that and go down to the River Kenzie and a couple of the bridges, also some remains of a Priory as well, so we can feel that, and I'll see you in a bit. Apologise for the rain blobs and the appalling conditions, but that gives you a sense of other parts of the castle. That would have been going up. Presumably there would have been a moat there where you can see the wooden footbridge now that takes people into the keep itself, and probably a drawbridge of some kind as well. So this is Launceston Steam Railway, the site of. It's currently closed. It reopens for half term in October. I think it's the 22nd, perhaps next week after next, I do believe. So if you're watching, by the time this video goes out, it'll probably open a few days. And I think that's the last time it's open for 2023, and it'll probably reopen again in Easter time. But of course, this is the site of the former railway station for Launceston. The line continued on up to the North Cornwall town of Bude on the Atlantic coast. So where the foundry garage is now is the site of the former goods yard here at Launceston Station. Maybe I have to walk up onto the bridge and get a view down onto the platforms of the Heritage line. So that's looking down on Launceston Steam Railway canopy there. I think it was moved from one of the stations, not here, but another station on the North Cornwall line. If I can find that out, put that in the usual way. And yeah, it's a wonderful narrow gauge line here in North Cornwall. This cottage here is where the poet Charles Causley was born, here in Launceston, born in 1917 till he died in 2003. This is back to the River Kenzie again. This is St Thomas's medieval bridge. Hard to imagine that would have carried traffic here at the Newport part of Launceston. Now a much newer bridge slightly further to the east of here. Probably hear it in the background, traffic going up, but it's a wonderful spot here just to chill out from the hubbub of a town. Now behind me is St Thomas's Church. I don't know which came first, the bridge or the church. Does anyone know? We'll just have a quick look at the church and the Priory ruins. And this is St Thomas's Church. I don't know the year it was actually built, but I'll put in the subtitle below. So this is Launceston Priory's ruins around the back of the church here. So Launceston Priory was founded in 1127, just a few decades after the castle on the top of the hill there. You can actually see the castle in the background here. And it was a house of Augustinian canons and dedicated to St Stephen, the proto-martyr later. And the church behind us was consecrated in 1155. In fact, the station buildings were just the other side of the fence there. And the usual thing happened with King Henry VIII, monastic-like dissolution of the monasteries, and this one came to an end on the 24th of February 1539. However, during its life, the most wealthiest of the priories in the whole of the Duchy of Cornwall. Thanks very much for watching the channel today here on West Country Wanderings, this tour of Launceston, the town, its surroundings and its magnificent castle here in the wonderful county of Cornwall. There'll be more content from Cornwall in the not too distant future. If you like that sort of thing, please consider subscribe. Also, have a look at my Cornwall playlist. See all the other videos I've done from this amazing county here. Till next time, take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, and I hope to see you on the channel again very, very soon. All the best. Bye-bye.